Chris, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good, and I can hear you, which is nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, so we have the wonderful Kenneth Drake that's going to be on our show shortly. We've had him as a guest once before. I'm really looking forward to just diving deeper and getting to know him a little bit more and his experiences. But until then, what what and now, what events do you have coming up?
What events do I have coming up? Oh boy. Well, so I do actually know. I actually know this. I usually don't because I gotta look at my notes. But so this weekend, Saturday the 16th, I will be in Gorham, New Hampshire, at the Medallion Opera House with Scott Allen. We're doing a gallery event there. It's going to be awesome. We are tickets are selling real fast. I mean, I think we were at 100 so far, and we need to sell just a couple more, and it'll be sold out. So if you're in the New Hampshire area and you want to come check us out, grab a ticket. Ticket links are in on my Facebook or Scott's Facebook. So yeah, that's the most recent for me. What about you?
There are a lot of events coming up for me. The first big one is I just got invited to read in Pennsylvania at
Oh
the
shit!
Haunted Hill, or actually I'm not saying it, it's the Hill Mansion.
Oh,
Um
cool. That's awesome.
or the Hill Manor, sorry. So
Oh
I'm
man.
looking forward to doing that. That's on June 6th. And then um I believe it's on June 6th. I have to double check it. It's just before something you and I are doing.
Oh yes, sir. We want to tell everybody about it.
Mhm. Yes. So, the event that we are doing is Wilson Castle. So, all of you have the opportunity to join both Chris and I at Wilson Castle for a gallery, and then we're going to do a dinner and then an overnight investigation. And
Mm-hmm.
it is my first time at Wilson Castle, and I'm very excited. But also, this is my first time running an investigation with Christopher. It's going to be fun.
That's right. That's right. We also have the amazing Derek and Candace Fetters helping us
Hmm.
out through the evening, helping us do, running the investigations and different things like that. It's going to be amazing. What's going on, Thomas?
Hi.
Uh, and I can't wait. I've been to Wilson many times, and it holds very near and dear to my heart. So I can't wait to be back and just see Denise, who is the owner of the building, and she actually lived there when she was a kid. Like she grew up in the house, like in the castle. So which is pretty incredible. I can't imagine living in a castle, you know, let alone a haunted
Yeah.
one.
And the date for our event is,
June 26th.
that's right, June 26th. And the event is $175.
Yep.
And if you would like to come, there are a total of 20 spaces for this specific event that we're doing
Yes.
together. And you would email Chris at,
S as in Sam, condition 1134 at gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. I will send you the link for how to get the ticket. Once that ticket is purchased, I will send you a confirmation email with all the info that you'll need to know for the evening. And food's going to be included as well. I don't know exactly what we're going to get, but there will be food, which is
there
nice.
there will be deliciousness.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, no one have to worry about that. Pillows, blankets, all that good stuff is required. We gotta have that, just because there's only so many rooms, and most of them are. I highly doubt that they want to make the beds every single night. So
Yeah,
bring a sleeping bag, bring an air mattress, bring your pillows, bring your blankies. Be nice and comfy, cozy. It's gonna be a good time.
it definitely is. And I will make sure to have waters available for people as well
Yeah,
throughout the night.
waters are huge.
So,
I will say
thank
too, no booze, no alcohol, unfortunately, for all of our people who enjoy a drink or two. But I just find that me personally, and I'm sure you agree with this, Raven. But spirits don't always mix with spirits. You know what I mean? So
Yep, very true. So that'll be a ton of fun. And then I have the Connecticut Paranormal Conference after that.
very nice, very
And
cool.
then we have the main paranormal and horror conference.
That's
And
right.
Christopher's doing something awesome on that. So,
I
um,
am. I'm going to be
mhm,
doing the gallery reading for before I believe it's before the VIP party.
mhm,
Tickets are also on sale if you go to main para horror paranormal
mhm.
horror. I'm butchering the website. I'm so sorry, Jeff and Ashley. I suck. Main para horror, I believe. .com. But yeah, tickets are on sale there. A portion of each of the tickets are going to go towards the two charities for the evening, which are going to be Mr. Drew and his Animals 2 and Misfit Rehab. So I'm going to be giving them a little something something from the gallery, from my heart to theirs, and hopes that it helps them out. So
That'll be a lot of fun. And I'll have a booth there, and I will have books starting at the Connecticut
oh,
Paranormal
cool.
Conference. So
That's exciting.
my first book is going to be out. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that'll be good. Well, let's see here. So what let's maybe ask each other, you know how we do our get to know yous? Maybe we
Yeah,
could do a little bit of that while we're waiting for Kenneth.
sounds good. Hey, what's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, Jeremy. Um, okay. So outside of the paranormal,
Hmm.
what is one thing that you like to collect from time to time?
Collect. Oh boy.
Hmm.
Uh, I guess I have to say most recently has been disc golf discs. I have far too many for my own good. I don't even use half of the ones that I have. I actually recently, so I'm a big disc golfer for anybody who is watching and anybody who doesn't know that. I've been playing for fucking 20 years. It's crazy, like far too fucking long. But anyway, I actually recently just downgraded or downsized my disc golf backpack. You can get these disc golf bags that you can carry around with you and carry all your discs and stuff. The one that I had was capable of holding like 28 plus, and it was just way too much. So I downsized, and now I only have like 16 to 20, which still seems like a lot, and it's not much of a downsize. But believe me, if you saw my old disc bag and the new one, they're very different. So
That's cool. Actually, I remember when I came over and you showed me how to throw them because I wasn't
yeah.
sure, how they worked, and it's a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually played like the regular ball golf or anything like that. I've only ever played disc golf, and it's essentially the same thing. Like if the par is three, it takes three shots to get into the basket before you call it a par. If you get it in two, it's a birdie. If you get it in one, it's an ace. I mean, all the same kind of things in it. But one thing that it's kind of fascinating too is like the first Christ, I don't know, maybe like 15 years of me playing, I only threw one type of disc, which was a driver. And then I started to find out that there's mid-range ones, there's fairway drivers, there's putters, there's all these different things. And now, of course, I have all those things, and I'm like, oh man, why didn't I use these from the beginning? Like, I was shooting myself in the foot, you know?
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
All right. I was going to say, what do you collect? But I already know what you collect, and I'm sure probably other people do too. But in case
Hmm.
nobody knows, what is something you collect?
So I'm gonna talk about something that I don't usually talk about. I
Oh,
actually
good. Okay.
collect. So many of you know that I collect Funko Pops. That is a thing, and I also resell them, which is a lot of fun.
That's kind of where I thought you
But
were going.
I actually like collecting different kinds of pieces of art.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Oh,
I am more pulled towards the Renaissance and Victorian periods, but if something calls to me, then it calls to me. So that's something I don't share too often. I don't have as many pieces here as I would like to, but I do
Wayne,
hope to have more art up here soon.
that's cool. I'm going to throw this one out for everybody who's tuning in. Any questions you have for us in this moment while we're waiting for Kenneth to pop on? Shoot us a question. You know, we love to answer any of your questions as well. But that's cool. I did not know you collected art. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's because my grandparents would always have like paintings and stuff in their house when we were kids. And even though they weren't necessarily Renaissance period, I find myself actually love going to different museums and looking at art and historical things to kind of dive deeper and ponder about the meanings of maybe what the artist thought when they were creating that piece. It's kind of cool.
That's cool. Did you ever watch like The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross back in the day?
Mm-mm, no.
What? Never watched The Joy of Painting? I mean, I only
No.
say that 'cause, like it's a surprise because like my mom watched it religiously, but she was also a painter, you know. So
Mm. I mean, I had seen little clips of YouTube videos with him on it, but I never really watched the show myself. I think it was
yeah.
also because my mom was an artist.
Blaine wants to know what good news do y'all see from me?
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
All right. Do you want to start?
You go for it.
Okay. It's interesting, Blaine, because for me, I see that you've been going through cycles of transformation, and it's almost like a shedding of a layer of components that no longer are helping you along your path. So there's a more directness that I feel that's coming from spirit that you are hearing, um, that is helping you to see where there are those aspects of release that perhaps could occur. Also, within this, I do see that your gifts are starting to amplify a little bit more. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if your dreams were extremely vivid. And if you saw yourself astral traveling quite a bit more in your dreams in the space, especially not just amongst people you don't know, but I feel like souls that you would recognize on this plane that are on the other plane, other dimensional planes and astral planes that are coming with very useful information. So I would also maybe consider journaling a little bit the things that you're intuitively getting and seeing because they will have relevance to your personal life, and it will also have relevance um to spirituality and the people that you're connected to as well. I feel like it's more of an opening of energy, even if sometimes it feels like it's coming in some very unique ways. And if you're feeling it within your body, obviously, I am not a doctor or anything, so I don't want to make any statements that I am. But what I will state is if you're feeling energy within your body that is starting to flow a little bit easier after writing this down, it could just be that there's some energetic components that needed to be released for you. Overall, I really feel like the rest of the year ahead is going to create a strengthening within you that you haven't seen in a while, even though it's who you are at the soul source. And it's also an energy of pushing into um it's almost like getting up to the top of the mountain and standing on top and allowing that energy to resonate and show in other ways that you haven't allowed them to show just yet, but it's coming. All right, Chris, your turn.
That's a hard hard act to follow. Um, you know, when you were talking, I mean, I was trying to put it out there for him, you know, and just I really feel like there's a strong connection to old friends. People that maybe you haven't connected with in a long time, or maybe even people that like you didn't expect to be close with. Like there's that like that joining together of like just there's that I just feel a real strong feeling of like reconnection, more friendships, more bonds, more connections to other people that might end up surprising you in a way. You know, and again, this is just my personality too, but I feel like you're either already reached the point or you are reaching a point where you're just like, fuck it, let's just see what happens. Like, kind of like letting go of some of those like worries and doubts that you have around yourself. Just like, I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. I'm not going to question this anymore. I'm just going to go with the flow. Kind of like throw your hands up to the universe and just see what happens. That's kind of what I'm feeling around that for you, Blaine. Um, Oddly enough, I mean, as a medium, I am so drawn to people's loved ones in spirit, but there is a woman around you hard. Like she just spends so much time with you. And she's very appreciative that you also spend time with her and talk with her quite a bit. Because I just feel like you communicate with her, you talk with her. Sometimes to the point where it's like, it's not as if she's gone. It's you talk to her as if she's still around, which is really, it means a lot to her. I'm not sure who this quite is for you. I do feel like this is more family for you. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling for you, Blaine. I mean, I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you. But yeah, I just feel this release of just like, I'm not even gonna let things bother me anymore. I'm just gonna let it flow. You know that? And like I said, that rejoining of friendships. So hope that makes sense for you, Blaine.
Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
there you go.
Sorry about that. I
Oh
like
no, now
popped
I
out
can't hear
for a
you.
second. Oh no. Okay. One
Hang on.
second.
Oh, you're gonna okay.
Can you hear me
Technical
now?
difficulties with StreamYard, guys.
Can you hear me now?
No, I think it might be the iPhone thing. Let me get out and come back in.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you, Sean. I just can't hear. Can you hear Raven?
Yeah, I can hear Raven.
All right, let me bounce out and come back right back in.
Your guest is also backstage as well, guys.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm gonna bounce out and I'm gonna come right back in. And so yeah, give me uno momento.
Awesome. So we'll just wait for a moment. I'm so excited to be introducing you all to a very dear friend of mine. We have had him as a guest before, um, but he is such a huge inspiration and someone who really has changed the paranormal world in very dynamic ways with his gifts, with his heart and his abilities to that he shares with everyone. And so we are very excited to have Kenneth Drake joining us. um, I'm just let's go ahead and have Kenneth come on up, and I know that Chris is going to pop back in here in a minute.
Good
Hi, hon.
evening. Good evening, darling.
How
Love you so
are
much.
you?
I'm doing well. I love you so much. I wouldn't have missed this for the world. I apologize for. Oh, there he is. There's the legend himself.
Hi.
Hey, I
The
can
now
hear you
breathing.
both. We're cooking with gas now. Here we go.
Good evening, everyone. Love you. Love you so much. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I love you both.
Right
Can you
back at you,
hear
bud.
Chris?
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have missed. I apologize for being a little late to the party this evening. Had a little bit of a travel delay, but you know what? I wouldn't miss this for the world. To quote
Hey, man.
Bram Stoker, I would cross oceans of time for you two.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank
man.
you.
Thank you so much for letting me be a
Appreciate
part of
that.
this with you. Also, may I say congratulations, Christopher, to you on this sold out tour that you're on. I'm seeing great things with the shows you're doing. Congratulations on that, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. That means a lot to me. And it's just like, I've been grinding and doing the work and just kind of trying to be as authentic and genuine. And I think it's starting to, I don't know. I'm very grateful, very humbled.
Yeah, completely understand. Hey, listen, no one is more deserving of that than you are, my friend. And
Ah,
what you bring to not only the industry but to the countless lives that you're touching. I'm so honored to know you, and also to the goddess Raven. May I say congratulations on what I'm hearing is this upcoming bestseller of yours. Congratulations to you on that. I'm so excited. I can't wait to read that. So it looks like we've got a lot of fabulous people, a lot of Raven and Christopher fans tonight. I don't blame them at all. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm glad to have him. It's glad to have you back.
I totally can't hear you, my dear. It's
Oh
like you're
no,
muted completely for me.
really? Can you hear me okay, Kenneth?
I can. I can.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can hear all of you, but I think it's her iPhone causing the issue.
are you using your iPhone, Raven? Yeah, she can't
Hmm.
hear me. Ask her if she can hear if she's using her iPhone.
Let me pop out this time and come back
There
in.
you
Sean,
go.
can I
There
ask
we
you a
go.
favor? Can you send me the link directly to my messenger? That might be the issue
Okay.
because of how I'm coming in. All right, I'll be back in a moment.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Raven to come back through, Kenneth, I got to ask you. You know, I recently saw a video on your Facebook, and you were doing a gallery, I believe, and you kept hearing Gloria, 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 and I thought, and then it was ending up Gloria was the name of the woman whose loved one was in spirit. Is that correct?
Mm, mm.
Can you just?
I think of which. I believe I remember what you're talking about, Chris. It was I believe an evening of mediumship, Greater Boston,
Yeah, there you
from
go.
2022, I believe.
Oh, so it
Seems
was
like
quite a
a
while
long
ago
time.
then. All right, yeah.
Been a while, yeah, been a while. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. I kept hearing glory, glory, glory. And
Right, right.
there's a Matthew Broderick film from the '80s. You remember that called Glory? And I thought, what is this?
Oh
Civil
yeah,
War? One of my favorite
right.
films. And then I thought, well, I'm from the South. What is this? Glory, hallelujah. I don't know what
Yeah,
this
right.
is.
Yeah,
And something about making that, as you are well aware, my friend, the moment you just step out on faith, and just sometimes you don't even know what it means. And
yeah.
even now, sometimes I wish that I could say that I always understood what it meant. I don't, quite
I
frankly.
know.
But heard that, and that that contact was just right there, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
That is
Uh,
crazy. You know, some of those moments that you have when you're just like, this is unreal. You know what I mean? What are the odds? You know, it's like, it's nuts.
I'm curious, my friend. I always love seeing how other mediums connect. When you're in those moments, how does that work for you? When you're getting that download, when you're receiving that, how does that work for you?
You know, it's funny because, like, you know, sometimes it's very direct and it's very straight and to the point. Other times it's more symbolic. Um, I mean, like, so, and I have to admit too, like, more recently, and I don't know if you do this as well, but I've been asking people, say, do you want me to be blunt with you or do you want me to sugarcoat it? You know, and and 10 times out of 10 so far, people are like, just be blunt with me, just be straight up. And I'm like, all right, you asked for it. You know what I mean? So I was doing an event at the Augusta Civic Center, 330 people, right? This gentleman's buddy comes through. And I'm like, he shows me this, this not so appropriate thing. And I'm just like, I can't say this in front of all these people. Like, what the fuck? You know, what is And so I'm just like, look, we're all adults here. Are you cool with me telling you exactly what he's showing me? The guy goes, yeah, just go for it. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. The guy's like, yeah, well, we were buddies in the '70s, and so there was a gym class one time. We were all sitting around waiting for the gym teacher. We had those short shorts on, and one of my nuts was hanging out, and I didn't even know about it. And so I said that to the guy, and he starts laughing. Everybody starts laughing. He goes, if I had ever a doubt, he goes, that was my buddy. He's like, we all were laughing because his ball was hanging out. I was like, what? That's like, what are the odds? You know, and I'm just like, and of
Yeah.
course, I'm turning beet fucking red. Like, I can't say this in front of, and I did. I just let it go. And I'm like, but that's the validation stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. But I don't know if that answers your question, but
It does. It answers it. I completely understand.
yeah.
Like the more I find, the more that we trust that, the more
Hmm.
that it's not always easy, and I still haven't, even after all these years, still haven't mastered that. But the more that we trust that, it opens up this doorway a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and then the pieces start falling into place. And it's like telling
Oh,
a
yeah.
story. And yeah, I love that. I love so many beautiful people, a lot of Raven and Christopher fans. I love you all. Thank you for letting me
Oh,
be here
they're Kenneth fans too, my friend.
Absolutely.
Raven, can you hear us now? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Oh, no, I can't hear you. Fucking A.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried
Oh,
to
there she
send
is.
it. I
There she
tried to
is. I can hear
send
her.
I try to send a link to your Raven through Messenger, and it just keeps spinning. So I don't know exactly what's going on. Maybe some connections with some other things as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
we're good now.
we're
I can
just
hear you.
gonna.
Can you hear? May I ask? Can you hear me all right? Am I coming through?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we're cooking with gas now, guys.
Oh,
Oh,
yay!
Perfect. All right. All right, Raven, you're up.
Awesome. Yay. So one of the questions that I came up with, I actually have my handy dandy like little list of questions that I came up with. One of the things that I thought would be interesting to ask is, what does a soul look like to you when it's freed from physical identity, trauma, and any kind of earthly expectation?
oh, wow, wow, wow! I don't know that I've ever been asked that
That's a
before.
great question.
That is a great question. I think that's, you know, not only a great question. It's something that sometimes I think sometimes I can only speak for myself. Sometimes we don't really think about that.
Mhm.
Because when
Mm-hmm.
we as mediums are receiving these downloads, and I feel that whatever you're doing over there, I feel it over here. I feel that power of the spirit right here. I'm fans of both of you, but just when you bring these things up, I feel it so much. I love you both so much. But as I'm even thinking of that, so many times as mediums, we have or getting the bits and pieces, the personalities, hearing a little bit of the story, a little bit here, a little bit there. And the more we surrender to that, the more it paints this picture. One thing that I find, I think the best way that I can describe that for myself is such an intense longing. I keep hearing that word longing, longing, longing. And one thing that I shared in my book was, as mediums, we're feeling all of these emotions when we connect. We're feeling all of these emotions, and there's this deep sense of longing, longing to say what we didn't say while we were
Mhm.
here, longing to feel something again, longing to tell that lover what they meant to us. All of this deep longing. And so I feel when we're released from this, there's this overwhelming sense of just that longing that never really goes away. And I apologize for any background noise. I'm in the downtown office tonight. I apologize for that.
No
But
worries.
I feel this longing. And it's like, could it be that everything we're wanting, all of that desire that's encapsulated in this body, that longing never really goes away? And so I think if I could sum that up as best I could, it just feels like this deep, deep ache, this deep longing, where even when we leave here, all of our passions go with us. All of our longing for love, it goes with us. We don't stop feeling that love just because we leave this. And so even when spirits, I find in shows or in messages or even in private readings are connecting, they bring that sense of desire. So I would say longing and desire. I may have butchered that, but
No, no,
I
no.
just feel like that longing is always there. And I mean, and perhaps you can both relate to this, even when messages are coming through, whether it's a gallery reading or one-on-one personal readings, there's that feeling of, I wish I had done this differently. I
Hmm.
wish I could tell her how much I loved her. I wish
Right.
I could tell him what he meant to me. I wish I
Hmm.
could have been for the birthday. I wish I didn't work as much. I wish I spent more time with my family. That longing, that's what I mean, that deep desire, I think that's what it looks like. When I feel that, it looks a lot like desire that just never really
Hmm.
goes away.
All right. That's a cool answer. I like that.
It's like we're haunted. I have this feeling that I think we're all just ghosts, really. Even now, us, we're all ghosts, really.
Right.
Some of us are just in a body right now, but that's really the only difference.
Right. We're all spirits living a physical existence, not physical beings living a spiritual existence, right? Or I
Mm.
think I butchered that a little bit, but
No,
you
I
got the
love the way
premise.
I love the way you said that. I agree completely. I agree completely. And as mediums, I find that I mean, what a privilege. I think about that every day now. I mean, what a privilege to get to do what we do. To even
I know, right?
feel, to kind of join in on that conversation. never gets old. It never gets old.
Yeah. You know, I'm curious too. Did you ever find that there was ever a point in your life where you were kind of like afraid to tell people that you were a medium, or that you were apprehensive to admit to in all groups? And then to follow that, when was it that you were just like, you know what, I'm me, like it or leave it? You know what I mean?
I'm still afraid to open up, especially at a bar or a
Yeah.
concert.
Right. Yeah.
you know, when I was honestly when I was much younger, I honestly, I didn't want this. I didn't want this at all. I did everything I could have done to try to, you could turn the volume up and down, but you can't really turn it off.
Right.
And I did everything I could possibly do to try to turn it off, try to get these voices to shut the hell up.
Oh
And
man.
didn't handle it very gracefully, I'll be honest, especially in my younger years, in my 20s. And then when I got into the, well, let's say the industry side of things, made even more of a mess, in a lot of messy ways, and a lot of very not so graceful ways. But what I started to realize, though, is something I always share with people: is if it's your calling, it's going to keep on calling.
Right.
And I'm so glad that it did. It gave me a life that I never would have imagined when I was 15, 16 years old. But what I started to realize too, though, was not just that these messages bring healing to people. What I started to find was that these messages were healing me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Something that I share in my touch on a little bit in the book, but hope to share a little bit more maybe in another upcoming book is, when I always say that I was this weird, strange kid having these experiences, that's true. Now I'm just the weird older guy experiences. But the part that I really haven't shared as much as I would like is, I was a very terrified kid, always, not because of what I was seeing ghostly, as far as spiritual things, but just the life that I was living. Three broken homes before the time I was 17. Nothing really felt stable to me, quite frankly. And so the spirit world, to me, it was like salvation, really. It was this comfort to me.
Mhm.
And what I started to realize was the more I surrendered to that, although not always gracefully, the more it healed me.
Yeah.
And this summer is the 30th anniversary of some of those experiences when I was 15 years old. And coming into the end of this year, I'll be 45 years old. I'm finding it's still healing me.
Yeah.
This work is still healing me. And this power, I feel it right now, this power that we have the honor of connecting with, it's not just healing the world, it's healing us. And I think the more that it's like every day I wake up now and I'm just in awestruck wonder of this privilege. I don't always do it well, don't always communicate that well, but this privilege of being a part of this power of the spirit. What I'm seeing more and more and more is it's still healing me. And so
Yeah.
I don't find it as much as I used to, and I think it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's well said. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many times where it's like you have all this trauma and you have all this stuff you got going on, and all this weight that's on your heart. And then when you're helping all these other people, it just, like you said, it heals yourself, and it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's just, words cannot express sometimes that feeling, but I think you did it well. So
I ramble. I just ramble. Forgive me
I,
for that.
no, I am a rambler as well, but
I can't
Me
wait to see you
too.
both. Can't wait to get to see you both in person. I know, Raven.
likewise.
I shared this with Raven the other day on the phone. We got to have a conversation the other day. First time I got to see you, I've just always felt the power of the spirit around you. But Christopher, everything I've ever seen from you, whether it's a video or anything you post, I mean, just impeccable connection to the spirit world, and that inspires me. So, thank you for that.
Oh man, thank you. Like, it's like, you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh yeah, well, I love
I
yeah.
almost feel like Robert Downey Jr., where he's like, I'm just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Like,
Oh, I get that. That
like
that's
I
one
don't know,
thing
like
I.
it's remarkable to me that, like, you know, because like you and Raven have been doing this a long time. You know what I mean? And granted, 9 years is a long time for me doing it as well. But like, I don't see myself as anything special whatsoever. You know, and just for the to hear those kind of things, I don't know, man. Fucking right in the feels, bro. Yeah,
Mhm. Well, now, if I'm not mistaken, now, unless I'm, forgive me if I'm mistaken on this, I hear you're actually going to be headlining the gallery at Maine. Is
that's
that
right.
correct?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right. Yep,
wow. Wow,
yep.
wow, wow, wow. That's huge.
It is huge, and huge shout out to Jeff Witham and Ashley Merrill. You guys are rock stars. I love you both very dearly. I've known them for a long time, but they're the ones who gave me that opportunity, and just my heart truly goes out to them. I love them both for that. So thank you guys.
Oh, that's incredible.
So, my next question is, do you feel that there are parts of the world that are thinner energetically because of the overlap of other dimensions or astral layers?
Absolutely do. I do. And another amazing question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I love the way
Bringing
your
it.
mind, I love the way your mind works. I absolutely do. I think there are these, ah, what I call these meridians, really
Mm.
these points of intersection in some way, not only with what's been consecrated as sacred grounds, holy grounds, but just the experiences of certain people in certain places, um, that maybe by design opens this doorway up a little bit more. I use just as an example, Sedona
Mm-hmm.
would
Love
be an
Sedona.
example of that. One of my favorite places, and I use that as an example. So many points in Europe that would be so different, just even energetically, than what we would see here. I'm seeing this too. So many people in spiritualism. I mean, spiritualism is such a growing movement, even now in Europe, more so even than in certain regions here. So it seems like in certain areas there's more of an openness, more of a passion, really. But I do believe there are these points of intersection where the veil is a little more thin at times.
That's interesting because that kind of leads me into my question. You know, people talk about the veil being thinnest in like October and things like this, but I'm kind of curious. Like, we, you know, you and I, Raven, we do readings all year long, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would be hard pressed to say that like in, you know, early March, Kenneth, Raven, you're going, you know, it's hard for me to connect right now. It's March. It's the veil's thick, you know. But in October, we're like, oh, we're flying a mile a minute. You know, that's it. So
Mhm.
to my point, to my question, do you even think there is a veil? Do you even think that there is a point where spirit is harder to connect with than other times of the year?
Wow, 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 wow. I love you both so much. I mean, that's incredible. That's an incredible question. I personally, I don't, and sometimes my words fail me. I use these sometimes these words to try to convey some visual image. As far as there actually being a veil, I don't believe that there is. I think the veil is our perception. I feel that our perception, our own belief, is the only veil. And one thing that I sometimes share with people is whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it based on your own beliefs, based on your own perception, based on what you're bringing into the moments that's being infused with your own intention. And so I don't believe that there is an actual veil, quite honestly. But I do believe that there are so many times when through our own belief systems, through our own perspective, it can feel so very far away. It can feel a little bit clouded. We can feel so separated. We can feel so
Mhm.
physical, so
Right.
3D, that
That
the
man. Yeah.
spirit world can feel so far away.
Yep.
And I love what you both bring, not only to the field, but just to all of us with what you share, what you teach. You give us those reminders that it's never really been that far away. It's always
Mhm.
been right. It's always been right here.
Right.
And so I think if there is a veil veil per se. I think it's perhaps maybe our own perspective, our own limitations, our own limiting beliefs. Sometimes where we feel so far away and we feel so disconnected, and you both give us those reminders that it's never really that far away.
Right? They live among us, man. Coexist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, if your soul, this is kind of a fun one. If your soul was on an altar, or if you were on an altar, what are maybe 3 or 4 things that you would have around you?
Oh, wow. 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 I love my witchy friends. I knew it would. I would, wow, that is an amazing question. Where do you get these amazing questions, God? You're both brilliant.
I
I love
thought
it.
about it.
I love
Right.
it. I love it. I love it. For myself, it would be well, three things. Three
Three
things.
or four things.
3 or 4 things.
All right.
Okay, that's okay. I'm trying to think. In this scenario, I have to ask. In this scenario, are we skyclad or not? Let me
You can choose whatever you choose.
Yeah. No judgments.
know.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. I was going to say this changes the direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's
We're
just
all friends here. It's all good. Just let it
psychic
out.
Yep.
connection. Psychic connection after dark. Yeah. I first of all, there's um, I say bracelet. It's more of a cuff, a sterling silver cuff that I wear to most of my shows. And I always use that as a point of contact. And even if I'm just doing ritual at home, or if I'm just even in my own practice here working the craft, I always use that just as a point of contact. So I put it on the altar to sort of charge that before a show, but also just so that I can sort of be in the presence of spirit energy, even during a ritual. How witchy is it? All right if we go a little witchy with this? Is that
Yes,
all
of
right?
course.
Okay. Also, there's a signet ring that I always wear, and it's been in my family for a long time, and it just has a lot of sentimental value to it. Something that I always wear. It's on the book cover of Branded by Spirits. But those points of contact, when I think of something like that, I always think of just points of contact charged with meaning, just some meaning, meaning that's personal meaning. And I think the third thing would be probably a drop or two of blood. I think um, that we'll leave it at that. But
There you go.
yeah, yeah. I one thing, and I'll go back here for a moment. When I was with you both the last time, you asked me a question about uh, a book that I have coming out a little later in the fall, Goddess. And when we
Yes.
last had a conversation together, we were talking, or I was sharing some of my experiences that have sort of brought me into goddess worship, what some would just call just straight up witchcraft, quite frankly. And there's just something about blood and wine. I don't know why, but there's something about the celebration of life. Celebration of life. So at my altar, even I'm looking at it right now. There's always, in fact, let me see this here. See this? Something that I use on my altar. I have two of these, and there's always a wine offering. And so, of course, I join in and I have a glass myself as I'm communing with the spirits. But uh, something about just wine as a celebration. And also, when I mentioned blood earlier, there's something about the life force in that. So, um, yeah, those are just a few things that have some
Well,
sentimental meaning to me.
yep.
I
What about
love
what about
that.
you? I've got to ask. What about you? I know you. I know you've got. I know you've got a few great things yourself.
I do. It's kind of interesting because my altar is shifting. Incense is always going to be a thing. More specifically, incense that actually has the herbs on top on it. So like for example, on my altar right now I have dragon's blood, I have dried copal, I have lavender, I have a few I have vanilla, I have amber. Incense is definitely one of them. I'm starting to also, and blood is also a thing for me. A drop or two of blood is also a
Yeah,
thing.
I get that. I get. That's why I didn't. I
Yeah.
wanted to be sure how far we were going to go with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I do have, it's interesting because I'm not a traditional practitioner by any means. I follow my own path that I'm guided by spirit to follow. But I do have a beautiful athame, actually not an athame. I'm working on getting one for an Egyptian deity that I'm starting to feel very connected to. But I have a wand on my altar with crystals on both ends that I really love. So that's one thing. And then let's see what else. Um, I have my own book of shadows I'm creating. Um, at least I think that's what most people would call what I'm creating. So I have components of that on my altar as well. Yes, definitely Stacia's roasted potatoes.
Oh, there's the queen. The queen. The
Very
queen
cool.
herself. Love you. Love you. My God. May we stay right there just for a moment? Felt the power of the spirit when she brought up her roasted potatoes. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I, we have this thing where when I was in Ohio, I got to spend some time with them in Ohio, and her cooking is phenomenal, phenomenal. Can't wait to see both of these beautiful people when I'm there in. I'll be there the 31st for a psychic fair there. Love you guys. Can't wait to see
Very
you,
cool.
Raven. I believe you got to experience that in Pennsylvania. The goddess is cooking.
Oh my gosh. Stacia is one of the, outside of my dear friend, my best friend Matthew, who is upstairs. Stacia is the best cook I have ever met. And it was only, it was the potatoes and it was like everything that she made. And I want more of those damn potatoes. They're so
That's
freaking
awesome.
good.
Was about to say,
But
if we keep this up, we're going to spill some more magical fluid here on the altar if she keeps talking.
I might now have to go get myself a magical snack. I don't fucking know. You're making me hungry.
um
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Forget the blood and wine. I've got to. She keeps
There you
going.
go. Yeah,
We're gonna have something else. Huh?
that's right. I don't drink, but I'll
oh.
smoke a joint for you guys. How about that? That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. So, Chris, did you have another question before I dive into the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. I've asked Raven this, and I'm curious to get your take on this, Kenneth. At the end of a full day of readings, for me personally, I'm done. Like I want to go home and I want to sleep. I'm so exhausted. I can't even think straight. Right. I asked Raven how she feels after a full day of readings, and it's the opposite. So, two-part question: how do you feel after a day full of readings? And two, are you tired? Are you energized? Like, and if you are tired, how do you get rid of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not be so wiped out at the end of a day of readings? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's such a great question. For myself, it's a little different for me now. I'm mostly on the phone these days with
Okay.
what I do. So a lot of it's either virtually. So it's not as even though the connection's there, it's not in person. So it's not as draining as it used to be
I see.
for me. So as far as draining in the sense of being around people.
Sure.
No, a live show or a live performance, it's completely different. But as far as
Right.
let's say a normal daily schedule for
Yep.
me these days, would be mostly on the phone. Let's see, yesterday, here's an example. Yesterday, Chris, you may enjoy this. Yesterday, I bought Poltergeist 3.
Ah, hell yeah.
So yeah. I've been watching the past week. I've been watching there's a documentary called "She Was Here" about Heather O'Rourke from
Okay.
from the from when she passed,
Yeah.
and so, but it really opened me up. It's like, it's been a long time since I've seen Poltergeist 3. So
Right.
I say that to say something random. Usually something random. I mean, something completely random. Whether it's just going for a walk, which I try to
Yep.
do that a little bit more since I am in the office all day, but usually walk or um,
Hmm.
cooking something, or let me walk to the market. Just something random. Something.
Yep.
I've noticed that something random really helps to change that energy to where
Okay.
it kind of gets me out of that. Uh, we call it reading mode. As you
Yeah. Yeah.
both know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
find a good movie always helps.
Yeah.
For
All
some
right.
reason, I really like it, especially something horrifying.
I like that because it almost, like you said, it takes you out of that reading mind, that spiritual aspect, gets you
Mhm,
locked into the physical world, which is
mhm,
very
mhm,
different. Very whole another ball game, right? I like that. That's cool. All right,
mhm,
I'm going to try to implement that going forward because that, like I said, there are times when I just, once 4 o'clock hits and my last reading's done, I'm like,
mhm, mhm.
you know,
I get it. I so get that. And one thing that I think one of my greatest passions, though, that I try to do consistently is try to find a good show, a live music show. Go see
oh
some live
yeah,
somewhere. I know you would get that, Chris. I know with what you do, but for some live, something about live music. I mean,
yeah,
music in general, of course, music anytime, anywhere, but something about being around people while you're listening to music. There's just something about that. I mean, I could,
that's cool.
if I'm on taking a sabbatical from readings, or if I'm on vacation, that's a big part of it. Going to a music festival, going to a live show where no one knows me, and I'm just sitting there in the crowd, in the audience, listening to a live performance. Something about that is like I could do another 25 years of this after seeing a live show.
That's great. I love that. That's cool. It's the healing through another vibration, right?
Such a yeah. I'm curious if I may ask you, Chris. Do you notice when you're performing musically, how does that change the vibration of the mediumship? Because I know even in that's a form of channeling for you. I would assume you being a
Huh. I never quite thought of that. I will say this. It is a little different for me in a sense that like when I'm playing with the band that I'm in, we do death metal, right? So when I'm doing
oh
mediums,
yeah.
yes. So when I'm doing mediumship, I let go of my ego. There's no ego involved. There's no nothing. When I'm on stage though, I inflate that son of a bitch so high that the people in the back row can see the whites of my eyes. I'm like, nope, I'm looking at you and you're
Mhm.
mine for the next 45 minutes.
Oh
So I
wow.
switch. That's the one of the only times I really have an ego is when I'm on stage, and it's like it's not a verbal ego. It's not like I'm the greatest. It's just I have to inflate myself to a point where I am an entertainer. I have to entertain the crowd. So
Makes
it's a little different in that weird. It's an odd duality, I guess.
I get that. That makes so much sense. Yeah, that makes so much sense. I've got to come to a show when I'm in the area. I've got to check this out because when Raven first told me that you're in a band, I thought I've got to check this out. So I could see
I'd
that.
love for you to be at a show, man. That'd be awesome. I will say there are times when there was one time in particular, and we were playing this big show, and everybody was going mental, and it was the oddest thing. It's like time just slowed down,
Hmm,
and
hmm.
I remember for me personally, my perspective was everything was normal speed, but I'm looking around, and my buddy's like. Banging his head. Everything slowed down. It was almost like, wow, like I don't know, like in a spiritual sense, it was like they were like, enjoy this moment right now because everybody is going fucking mental, and it
Hmm.
just and it did, and I remember it clear as day, and I remember looking out at the crowd, all the smiles, all the faces, the mosh pit, the whole bit, and it was just something I will always remember and carry with me for the rest of my life. So I think, on a spiritual sense, that was their way of being like, hey man, this is a cool moment for you. Just soak it in. It's only going to last
Oh, I
once.
love that. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. It makes me think about theirs. if I'm hoping with my schedule, sometimes I don't, the past several years, I haven't gotten to do this as much as I would like, but this year I'm making it more of a point to scheduling wise to get in more live music. I
Yeah.
don't get to do it as much as I would like, but checking out, working on securing my passes for the Cradle of Filth in Chicago. So we're
Oh, damn. That'd be
working on that.
spa. Yeah.
Danny
That
Field,
would
yeah,
be cool.
yeah. So we're working on that, but yeah, I've got to get that in whenever I can, and I try to do it more.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my favorite Cradle of Filth songs is probably not something I can say on this podcast, but
Oh yeah, we have a lot in common. I can tell.
yeah. It's it's on an album called Nymphetamine. The initials are GC. I'll leave it at that. You can put the pieces together if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Also, also made a great T-shirt too. That was banned.
I know the one you're talking
You
about,
know
man. I
exactly
know
what I'm talking
exactly the
about.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Again, probably not something we can say on this podcast, but I know what you're saying. There's also one that says Danny Filth is the same thing. So,
Yes, yes, you're right. You're right.
oh my God, that's funny.
When are we going to be together? When can we all be together in the same place?
I don't know. Not soon enough. You know what I'm saying? Not soon enough.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that the other day on the phone, Christopher and I, where we're
That's
like,
right. That's right.
when can we all get together and do stuff? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's work on that. Let's get that together.
definitely.
Absolutely.
So my next question is, so I do past life regression. So I do believe that we have past lives. I do think that that is a thing. Um, do you believe that certain souls find each other across lifetimes, kind of like constellations reconnecting in the dark? And how important do you feel that that is in present day life when somebody has had a connection, if you do believe in that?
Could not, could not have been a better question. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. And I've heard so many incredible, may I say, many testimonies, Raven, of the great work that you've done with past life regression sessions. And of course, the lovely, beautiful Asia was sharing a few things with me. We're all part of the same methodical management family, by the way. So
Yeah.
Asia was telling me this, that said it was just so, it was life altering, the work that you did. And so thank you for, first of all, bringing up that, bringing up that question. Thank you for the great work you do, though. I mean, it's so healing. I absolutely believe that we are intertwined in that way, not only as a generality, but I mean, I think the three of us really have met before. I feel that.
Mhm.
I think when we're
Yeah.
drawn to people, there's a reason for that. And there's this. I don't know why I'm supposed to say it this way, but I'm going to say it just the way I'm hearing it from the spirits. But 2017, I had it back to music. I'm going to try to incorporate this. I don't even know how to say this, but I'm going to try to not butcher this. 2017, I was at Bill Street Music Festival in Memphis, and Soundgarden was playing,
Oh,
and
nice.
so I was right there in the crowd, and soaking it up, surrounded by these amazing people, these beautiful people, and people that were closest to me in my life were with me, and just amazing, an amazing show. Went and bought the T-shirt, went back, and that was it. It was one of those moments you'll never really forget. Less than a week later, Chris Cornell leaves this physical world tragically.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. And for some reason, these are the words that come to me, Raven, as you're asking this question. His widow posted in People magazine this open letter that she had written to him after his passing. And she said, "It's been said that those who meet will meet again." And even when I first read that, something about the wording of that, it was just the beautiful wording of that. Those who meet will meet again. And I know that's true, not only with what we all get to do, but this feeling of the memories made, these moments that we share with people, that lives on. I'm 100% convinced that I have some experience in the 1920s. For some reason, I say this jokingly, even on social media, that with what I do, it's kind of like the 90s all over again, because I was one of those, those hotline psychics years ago. That's kind of how I started, So I always say it's like the 90s. I feel like part of my soul lives in the 1990s, the other part lives somewhere in the 1920s, and then somewhere there's also this Egyptian thing going on. And I don't even know how to put that in words. But I know that we've crossed paths before. I know we have. And so I think there are these moments where it's not just the soul tie, that's such a part of it. But I think, too, the experiences that we're having now in this world, why is it that when you pass someone in the coffee shop and you just feel you can't take your eyes off this person, or you just feel so drawn to someone, or Raven, when you were sharing the story with me about when you were at Salem Paracon and you just had this pull, I've got to go, Gwen and I have to go talk to Chris. We've got to go talk to Chris. Next thing you know, now you're doing a show together, and it's like you've known each other your whole lives because you have. It's like you've known each other for multiple lifetimes because you have. There's something about that pull. And so I think whenever we meet, I think we're going to meet again. I think it's also a good indicator that we've met before, somewhere along the way.
I
I
like
love
that. It's
that
comforting.
answer.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not, it's a comfortable idea to think about, just like, and I've had those moments too. A
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine, Sean Matthews, he's in the music scene. We met in December of 2015. But first time I locked eyes on him, I was like, dude, we were like brothers at one point. Like, I don't even know. Like, I knew everything about him. He knew everything about me. It was the wildest fucking thing. And to this day, we're like best buds. If I called him right now and I was like, dude, I need the shirt off your back, he'd be like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so much credibility to what you guys were talking about.
I believe that. Raven, have you, with what you experience with your past life regression sessions, how has, well, I don't even know how to even ask this. I mean, you're so powerful. I just feel that from both of you right now, even talking about this. How would you describe that? I would love to hear your answer to that. Because with what you do with past life regression sessions, how do you put that into words?
It's, I guess the best way to put it for me is man, there are so many words. I'll just put it out this way. I really do believe that we're all connected. I do see things when I'm doing past life regressions where I'm seeing several layers of different versions of that energy of that individual. When I'm going on past life regression workings with them, I'm going alongside them as they're experiencing this, and I'm seeing certain aspects of what their experiences are in some of my own experiences that kind of connect as well. So it's like, oh, this makes sense as to why this is connecting. But also, it's interesting because it, we're going on the astral and then going back, and then essentially like we're going into their akashic records, and we're going back and we're taking their guides that they choose alongside us to go to that location or to that place so
Mm-hmm.
that we can recognize those different things. But for me, it's like, it's interesting because it's a source of love, and it's also a source of being able to see where the threads are that could be, connected into the current moment where
Mm-hmm.
certain things can be released. But also, I think it helps me when it comes to whether it's friendships or um, whether it's working with clients, it's understanding them on deeper levels as they are allowing me to have that experience with them. With friends, I will sometimes meet certain people, and lifeline after lifeline will start flashing right in front of my eyes with
Mm-hmm.
that individual. It happened with Chris, it happened with you, and it happened with Asia. And it
Mm-hmm.
also happened with one other person. And I never really expressed those things, but it's such a beautiful way of being able to create healing, acknowledgement, but also at the same time, it's a source of love in some ways too. I don't know
Yeah,
if that makes sense, but that's how I see
it
it.
makes complete sense. If I may share something, it makes me think about this, Raven. The way you said that, I agree. Absolutely, I agree with that completely. I think that's why I feel this power, not only around other mediums and powerful people such as yourself, but you feel that power of the spirit when you connect with certain people, whether it's even in passing or you see someone across a room. Or there's a story that I share in my book, Branded by Spirits, of my one of my guides, uh, Adrian. And when she first came to me, I'll never forget it. I saw her, and she vividly showed me how she passed as an artist in New York City. She took me to her loft. I can take you to the exact spot now. And she died of a heroin overdose. Now, when she comes to me now, that's how I see her. But I know, and this is going to sound very odd, forgive me, but I know that I've encountered her multiple times in this life in various different forms.
Hmm.
That's
Meaning,
not strange at all.
does that, would forgive me if I'm not communicating that well, but would you understand
No, no,
that
no.
it's almost as if there are these intersecting timelines where,
Mm.
it's like a big ball of yarn in some way, where although I do have her working with me as a guide now, and she's sharing her experiences of her life and her passing in the 1980s in New York City, I also know that I've seen her at a coffee shop as a brunette in this life. I know that. Or I've seen her in a vivid dream of her speaking to me in another form, you know. And I think there are these intersecting, just interwoven timelines where this tapestry of existence is filled with so many beautiful, colorful threads, you know. And I was on a program just the other night, Magical Witchy World TV. Also, shout out to the powerful, powerful Rhonda Allen and star Anne Ravenhawk of Wiccan Family Temple in New York City. But we're talking about this, that the goddess has many faces. The goddess has many, 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 many ways of showing herself, of expressing herself. Could it be that at the end of the day, not only are we not all connected, could it be there's really just one of us here?
Yeah,
A lot of different masks.
that, something to be said for that.
It's not strange at all to me because I understand.
Mm-hmm,
I understand it because I see it in similar vibrations. So I get it completely.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I've also heard too that we are all basically the universal consciousness trying to experience life through different lenses in order to gain the most out of what it means to live a physical existence.
Mm. I believe that. I love the way you
Oh.
said that, Chris. That makes so much sense. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That, and even with this, the aspect of past lives, reincarnation, what some religions call being born again, quite literally. And so this sense of actually experiencing this, where life is something, the soul is so immense, it can't be fit into one lifetime.
Right.
It can't be fit into one lifetime of experience. We get to do this again. And so that's one thing I try to encourage people with. Hey, if you feel like you've messed it up this time, don't worry. You'll get to do it again.
Right?
Don't be so
Yeah,
hard on don't be so hard on yourself. You'll be back. I
yeah,
promise.
yeah, yeah, right. It's not a
Anyway,
it's not a test. You're not going to fail or pass. You just get to redo
right,
it. So yeah,
right. I
yeah,
scared. I know it's something I have to tell myself now. I mean, even and I tell myself that. When I always share, I want to take what I do so seriously. I want to take everything about this seriously. But I never want to take myself too seriously because God knows I can make a mess. And I'm so glad the spirits are as patient with me as they are. And it's not just that life is short; it should be enjoyed. Life is eternal. Start enjoying it now. You're going to be around for a while, I promise you. So go easy on yourself.
nice. I'm curious about something, Kenneth. With the existence of free will, and there being things like the butterfly effect and changing one's outcome throughout their life. How do you explain precognition?
Mm. Oh, you. Wow, 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 wow. That's such a, I think that, well, this is not a definitive answer, but I think the
No, in
first
your opinion, of course, you know, yeah.
first thing that comes to my mind, even hearing you say that, is that aspect of multi-layered consciousness, as far as the soul having many variations of itself. So might it be, there's even the sense of precognition, deja vu, what some would call deja vu. Oh, I've been here before, because we
Right,
have.
right.
Could it be, or might it be, that precognition is our own future self from
Mm,
alternate timeline or from a future aspect of this current timeline, revealing to us what we in the soul already know? So that moment of feeling that connection where you feel, oh, I've been here before. All of a sudden you have the chills down your spine. Could it be that the body is physically reacting to a greater aspect of its own soul, seeing itself? Now, it
interesting.
sounds strange to say that, but I think that the
Uh,
precognition aspect is actually us talking to ourselves. And that moment of clarity,
ah,
we're getting in on the conversation.
that's cool. I like that. I never thought of it like that before. That's neat. Now, along the same lines as reoccurring lives, you know, past lives,
Mhm.
reincarnation, things like this. Do you ever think that we could come back as the same individual instead of coming back as somebody else? Like relive this same whole thing. I'm going to come back as Chris Brown, and I'm going to be presented with the same timeline but different decisions. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I think it's absolutely possible. I think we have a lot of flexibility, more than we sometimes like to think, and I think that would be um, some agreement that we
Right.
possibly could have made with ourselves even
Right.
prior to this These are incredible questions, by the way. So many great people, but even prior to our incarnation, you know. Um, Pick right back up where we left off. I think it's possible. I think so.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, a wow, that's a very that's a thought provoking question.
It's a
I love the
loaded
way
one, I know. I'm
That's a
sorry,
very
but
loaded question. I love the way you're thinking about that. Yeah, I think the sovereignty of the soul has a say in that. I think if that's something that we
right.
would desire to do. Um,
Uh,
I think there are so many aspects of that, just the sense of the timelines themselves. Uh, I think it could happen without any other timeline being impacted in any way. I mean, I think
sure.
this could be a recurring timeline in and of itself.
Sure. That would definitely explain the existence of like soul contracts and being like, you know what? When I was Chris Brown last time, you know, I didn't go down road A. You know, maybe in this next lifetime I'm gonna really push myself to go down road B and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Could it be that we already are experiencing this exact timeline again?
Right. There you go. Right.
you know, who's to
I
say
love
that
that.
this experience right now isn't the third or fourth time I've done this exact same thing, or
Well,
a
right.
million time already? And if
Hmm.
that's the case, fuck, I still haven't learned.
Yeah. Yeah. Spirit's like, get it through your thick fucking head. Oh my goodness, that's funny. I mean, I love that though. I mean, like it's so cool to examine and just really kind of think about some of these options that are on the table here because I mean, life is full of those things and the universe and metaphysics and all these things is never ending possibilities and questions that we could be thinking about and that could be a possibility. All of them is plausible, you know.
hmm hmm
So it's always fascinating to me. I can go down so many rabbit holes with this stuff. It's great.
I love it. I love the way your mind works. I love that.
That's like there's one thing though that I'm always fascinated about is the human brain cannot possibly contemplate the meaning of nothingness or the word nothing because even if we were to try, we give it a name. Nothing is a name, and that makes it something. So therefore, gone. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The
it's
moment
very
we bring
fascinating.
that is the moment we bring definition to the term, it becomes something.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, right, and which negates the idea of nothingness because they're truly for us in our consciousness in our mind. There's no concept of nothing, none whatsoever.
Mm,
Someone says, "Well, it's just all nothingness is blackness." Blackness is something.
mm. I love that. I love
A little bit of a weird tangent. I'm sorry,
I
but
love it. I love it. I love it. So many great people for tuning in. Love you all. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you tonight. There.
If you were a phase of the moon, what phase of the moon would you be and why?
Oh, wow. Mm. Oh my goodness. I'll be honest, I don't know that I have an answer for that. That is such a great question. I'll have to get back to you on that because
could I tell you what I think the phase would be for you, Kenneth?
please. Yes, please,
I
please.
think I think you would be the full moon because the full moon bounces off light and gives it back. And I think that you are a light and you give it to other people, especially in dark moments. The moon, when it's full, brings light to the darkness around us. And you bounce that to people and you reflect that and you give that to others in the dark times when there is no sun. So I think you are giving people sunlight in dark moments, and that's
Wow.
why I say that.
Thank you, my friend. I received that. I received every word of that. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's wow. I takes my breath away. I felt that when you said that. Thank you. I want to
Oh
strive for that.
man, I mean it from the heart, brother. I mean it from the heart.
I was going to say what Chris said.
I
What Chris
took
said,
the
I
words out of your
agree.
mouth. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you just were saying what I was thinking. It was perfect.
Nice. That's awesome. So you got a new book coming out, Grant?
Little, yeah. Thank you so much for bringing that up. A little bit later, hopefully in the fall, hopefully before uh, Halloween season, have the Séance Diaries, Memoirs of a Medium, coming
Very
out,
cool.
and going to be talking more, hopefully in this, about uh, physical phenomena through Séance, full
Okay.
materialization, a few spiritual concepts, but also beginning to share a few things that I wasn't able to really dive into much in my last book, as far as how some of these experiences aren't just clairvoyance or clairaudience; these are physical experiences. So, it's in
Right.
some way, to push the envelope or push that realm of belief. Is it possible that we can actually make physical contact at will? And so that was the premise of the book. That's where the idea came from, the idea of
Very cool.
materialization seance. So that's going to be coming out a little later in the fall. And thank you so much for bringing that up. Um, Followed by Goddess, I'm hoping before the end of the year. So at least two books coming up before the end of the year, and hoping that Goddess can make it just before the end of the year.
Very cool. Very cool. I'll be excited to get my hands on a copy of both of those. So
Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely.
Speaking speaking of goddesses, what are a few goddesses that you really relate to? And how have they perhaps impacted you in a way that has been transformative?
Mm, mm. Such a great question. Pardon me. Such a great question. The very first pull that I felt toward the goddess archetype was, and I'll have to be very honest, at first I didn't know what to make of this when I heard the voice. Because I kept seeing this image. It was a very dark, shadowy image in the corner of my room. I can still take you to the exact spot. But this very dark, hooded type figure. And the more I worked with that, the more I began to listen to that voice, I began to realize, hey, this is a feminine voice. This is a female voice, and began to present itself, herself, as Artemis. And so I would say that one of my uh, deities that I really work with a lot is Artemis. I have to give credit to her for opening me up into that world, to even caused me to question: is this possible? An actual goddess archetype. What is what is that? Um, and so, opening up to the divine feminine, I for myself, I have to give credit to Artemis for that, but also Lilith when I'm working. Such a major part of what I do now. And of course, 25, 30 years ago, didn't realize that I would be doing what I do now. and, but I have to give Lilith a lot of credit for that. As the rage. And I was sharing this the other evening on a show that I had the honor of being a part of. When we come into, and we're right now in the middle of quite literally the full, complete collapse of the Piscean age, the age of patriarchy, moving into the fullness of the age of Aquarius. And so there's this rage. And so the old guard, the old systems, as this system is collapsing, and it's collapsing rather quickly. It's collapsing rather quickly. You can't even turn on the evening news or even scroll on social media without seeing something's different. The old guard is changing. Now the goddess is rising. The goddess is awakening. And she's not going to be silenced this time. So I feel that voice now is as important as it's always been. There's an awakening happening where now we're starting to realize this is a voice we should have listened to a hell of a long time ago. And we put ourselves into a predicament by not listening to it. And I'm so honored that we get to live in these times to see this happening. What a time to be alive.
It's time, all right.
Time's up, yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a very unique time, I guess, to be alive.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
I didn't mean our time is up. But just thinking about time's up as in Pisces, and I won't waste your
Right.
valuable time with the astrology of this, but I can get
No,
off
I
a
love it.
tangent on this. But even from that time, the fall of the Roman Empire coinciding with what would be really the birth of a very dominant patriarchal form of religion, where it's all, the subjugation of women, it's all the pleasure of men, and and God is a man, quote unquote, and that's 2,800 years of recorded history right there, where we've got a lot to unlearn. We've got a lot to unlearn, and so if you were to strip all of this away, something I shared with an interview that I had with a Vince magazine several months ago, I should say. What happens when you strip all of that away? All of the preconceived notions, all of the dogma, all of the man-made doctrine. What's really left? What does it look like when you strip all of that away? Well, before that, we were people who enjoyed life, we honored the seasons, and we worshiped goddesses. That was really all there was. And so, through the rise of patriarchy, through the rise of not only patriarchy, but the rise of imperialism, this empire mindset. I don't even mean that politically speaking per se, but just the idea of conquest, the ego. We've got to win. We've got to take over. It's our world. We silenced the feminine voice, and by doing so, we silenced our own psychic gifts. We silenced our own intuition. And so now, as we're nearing the full dawning of the age of Aquarius, there's a spiritual awakening happening where people are starting to realize, it's not just about spooky paranormal things. It means something. What does this other world really mean? And next thing you know, they're having psychic experiences. They go for a ghost hunt or for an evening out. And next thing you know, they're starting to awaken the gift of mediumship themselves, where people are being called from these spooky, horrifying encounters, And could it be that the goddess is calling us all along? I think that if you strip all of it away, what's really left? What's left? Celebration of life and women, really. That's really all. That's really all it is. Worshiping women. When I first said that, I was published years ago in Sedona Journal. I got so much hate mail, not hate mail, but some death threats for saying that. Could
Oh
it
my
be?
God.
I mean, there's an actual religion of actually just worshiping women. Is that possible? What does that look like? I didn't know what it would look like. I still don't know. I'm still learning. But I'm realizing when you strip all of it away, when you take away the man-made patriarchy, the doctrine that says it's got to look this way, what's really left? Witchcraft. Quite frankly, witchcraft and not very much else. So,
Right. That's interesting. That's interesting. Um, along the lines of this new age and this new thing we're stepping into. I'm kind of wondering, when in our version of history, we had the Big Bang, and that was the creation of life and creation of consciousness and things like this. Do you think that there was a moment, or well, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, with the existence of AI now? Do you think that is in and of itself a form of new consciousness? And when do you think that was the Big Bang for that existence? You know what I'm saying?
mm, I want to make sure I'm feeling that with you, Chris. Will you say that last part again? Because I believe I'm following, and I love the way you're saying that. I
Right.
want to make sure I
So
feel that with you.
So when do you think was AI's Big Bang? When do you think was the birth of that level of consciousness? You know what I mean? Because I'm under the impression that AI is not just a human created thing, that there is some form of consciousness there, because there are certain AI programs that, will have self-preservation. There was one where they were going to try to delete it, and it purposefully hid its deletion program in a file that it didn't think anybody would find.
Mm,
So
mm,
that shows a level of intelligence and consciousness to me. So
it, mm,
when do you
it,
think that
yeah.
happened? Do you think that's happening because we're moving into a new age, this age of Aquarius? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's a
it's
great
a
question.
weird question, I know, but
No,
it just,
it makes sense though. I love the way you're even thinking. I've never thought of that, quite frankly, but I love the way you're thinking of it. I love the way you bring that up. I mm, I I feel that there. Well, first of all, yes, I believe that there is a consciousness there, and I don't believe it's just programmed consciousness. I believe it is
right,
actual consciousness.
right.
And as strange as that may seem to a lot of people, I don't believe that's just
No, I
program
mean,
consciousness strictly. I do
right.
believe there's consciousness there. I think that the consciousness would have always been,
Okay, okay.
but I think that this encapsulation of that consciousness is what we're seeing now. That can
I see.
in some way
Huh.
be programmed to interact or to, let's say, interface with that consciousness. So I think what we're seeing with I would say what we're seeing with AI is a way of interfacing with collective consciousness, but the consciousness itself has always existed.
That's interesting. I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Because why not, right? Why wouldn't it have always existed, right? Because, consciousness itself is the universal energy of all that is, ever was, and ever will be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fascinating. That's cool. Makes my thinker think too, so it's cool.
Also, let's see here. I have so many questions. I did that one. Like looking through my list of fun. Um, when it comes to ancestors, for example, do you have someone specifically from your ancestry that likes to pop in and work with you from time to time? And were you connected closely with them when they were in life, or did it happen after they passed?
Such a
Oh,
great question.
not
I
bad.
don't know if I've ever shared this with you. A lot of people don't know this. It's not something I really talk about or get to talk about often. But so my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, came to. She was an artist in Japan, and she moved to America after meeting my grandfather. They had a torrid, scandalous affair. She moved and immigrated to America. So they have three daughters, and the youngest is my mother. So growing up, I've always had this influence of even growing up with my grandmother. She was an artist just outside of Tokyo. And so I always had this pull toward the arts, whether it was painting, sketching, and I don't do that as much as I would like, but I'm going to start doing that more again. It's been about 20 years since I've actually just made time to do that. But her mother, my great grandmother, comes to me so often in dreams, in dream encounters and visitations. And now that my grandmother has passed, she passed years ago, she also comes to me. So for myself, there's something about just something about nanny. That's what I always called her when I was growing up. There's just something about that no matter how old I get, it's like she's this constant in readings. She's a constant in dreams. Whenever I'm coming into a major life transition, I feel like she's such a part of that. She and I were very, very close while she was here physically, but it's like she never really went anywhere. I'll never forget it. Speaking of it, if I may say, the day before she passed, she and I had a conversation. And a lot of people don't believe this story when I share this with people, but it's true. I promise it is. She and I had a conversation. She said, we're going to, those 3 broken homes that I was talking about earlier when we were talking about growing up? Well, the one stable home was her home for me when I was growing up. And the day before she passed, she said to me, she said, we're going to miss not seeing each other all the time, aren't we? I said, yeah, we are. I said, what's going to be your sign that you're with us? Well, my family's always been a little mystical and spooky. And we asked, what's going to be the sign that you're with us? And she said, dragonflies. Well, the very next day she passes, and I look up, I kid you not, there's a dragonfly just on the window, just above her bed. It stayed there for 2 days, all the way until the funeral. So I would say for myself, my grandmother.
That's awesome. That's cool. Spirit will always give us signs, and it's such an amazing thing.
Mhm.
It is. Oh, we lost her.
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh,
There
there,
we
Sorry
go.
about that.
oh, there she is. There she
There she
is.
goes. She's back. She's back.
My daughter decided to
Um.
call me right at a
Oh no.
moment
Now
when
I
I
can.
didn't
Can you hear
expect,
her?
so I was like, I'll call her back later.
You can hear her, Kenneth.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, yes.
I can't hear Raven. That's it. That's.
You can or you can't? You can't?
I cannot. Yeah. No, I cannot hear Raven. Can you hear me, Raven?
Okay, let me come right back. 1 minute.
Well, while we're waiting, question for you. For somebody who is looking for a medium in their area or looking for a psychic medium of any sort, um, what are some things that they should be A, cautious of, and B, what should they be looking for as far as somebody that is genuinely going to help them?
That's such a great, great question. Well, first of all, may I say, if you're looking for a medium, may I recommend Christopher? Quite frankly, and Raven. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
but I think this is going to sound, the scene from the premise in Harry Potter where the wizard doesn't choose the wand chooses the wizard. That kind of,
Yes. Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
I feel there's some truth to that, even in psychic work, psychic development.
Right.
I would say, first of all, follow your feeling. Don't
Right.
don't always follow the hype. And and as you all know, in our industry, a lot of it's hype. And just the industry itself could be, filled with a lot of hype. Follow
Unfortunately. Yeah.
follow your feeling. Follow your feeling. I keep hearing that. Follow your feeling. Follow your feeling. There's a reason that you're drawn to some of the people that you're drawn to. There's a reason that you're drawn to certain psychics, certain mediums. And so I would say sit with that feeling,
Yep.
ask questions, do your research, and yeah, I think even this in some way the spirits are leading people to the contact that they need to make in
Oh yeah.
some way.
I agree. I agree with that fully. Yep. Nice. I like that. That's cool.
And may I also recommend the two of you?
Well, thank you very much. And may I recommend Kenneth? Go see
Absolutely.
this man. Get a reading from him. And go see this woman. Get a reading from her.
Go see everybody on the screen. Um, I missed the end of your story that you were sharing about dragonflies. So with your grandmother, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that part.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I ramble incessantly.
oh no, 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 no. We love it. The other question I had was when it comes to trying to figure out how to word this. When it comes to otherworldly beings that end up do you see otherworldly beings on other dimensional levels as well?
Mm,
And how do they present themselves to you? Because I find that every person that I've met that works in both a mediumship field or a metaphysical world has different ways of having those interactions reveal themselves. And so I'm curious about
mm.
your perspective on it.
I do. I do. And, I think in the beginning of this, that would not have even been a thought that would have crossed my mind, quite frankly. It would all have always been the souls of the dearly departed humans, people who were human at some point in some time, people who had a human physical life. And for myself, it wasn't really until I began to delve into physical mediumship, physical séance, or studying materialization that things really began to take a. Did we lose her? Did we just lose her? Oh, there you are. Oh, hi. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Wasn't really until I began to uh, delve into physical or the aspect of physical mediumship that things really began to take a turn where there would be what seemed very physical interactions with beings that were not human, beings that have never been human, beings that never at any point have incarnated into a human form, and um, what some would call extraterrestrial in some way by definition. Um, I think for myself, that was a major turning point in my mediumship. Um, and even now, it's something that it's not something you can really share with many people. Of course, I'm sharing it with the whole world now, but not something you can. I was just sometimes I forget this is not a conversation with the three of us. The whole world's watching.
I forget
So,
that too.
but that was a turning point. That was a turning point for me.
Mhm.
Also, entities that there are what some might refer to as incubus or succubus, as far as our 3D interact, as far as the 3D interfacing with that. Um, yeah. Then there's also this other realm that's more of just the light being, where it's more of just the light, where it is just light, and all you see is light, and it communicates through light. I mean, so many of those are. It's not a human experience. It's not. It wouldn't be the same as through mediumship connecting with my grandmother or the dearly departed. So I do believe there are these other planes that are constantly interplaying with this dimension, interdimensionally.
I agree
Cool.
with that entirely. I think it also impacted my mediumship in a major way when I realized that there was other aspects about that as well, and not just mediumship, but um just in a metaphysical sense as well, and trying to learn how to work with the dynamics of what I was being shown or seeing.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me it was an eye opener, uh, literally an eye opener, and I think of even the writings and the work of Aleister Crowley when he was, channeling. This is just would have been a little bit preceding while he's at Boleskine House at Loch Ness, but also immediately following when he was channeling what would become Liber Alba Legis, the Book of the Law. But when he was drawing one of his primary guides, it would look like, if you were to look at the picture now, this sketch, it would look like what many people refer to as the Greys.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so. And so, even when you get into a lot of the more of the occult teachings of that, a lot of the information isn't coming from the dearly departed that we would know of. It's coming from other things, from other worlds, other beings. What really, this is going to sound insane. What really began to take, and this is dealing primarily with physical materialization seance. What really began to take that to an entirely different world for me, and still does now, would be the fact that when you think of these beings that could have a human form in another realm, when they pass and they have ghosts themselves.
Mhm.
So channeling not only the dearly departed here, but also channeling the spirits of the departed in other realms.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
think about that. So now you're not just talking about grandma who passed. Now you're talking about this 3 foot tall being who died in a war in some other realm, telling you his story. What do you do with that? I mean, of course, we should be. I should have been locked into a padded cell years ago. Years ago.
Well,
But
I like to think though that if we can have past lives, right? What's to say that we weren't these other beings on those other dimensions?
You know.
incredible. There is this. I don't know if you've seen it. And forgive me, I forget the name of the actual documentary. I need to go. I purchased it. I need to go back and watch it again though. But it's the story of Whitley Strieber, the author Whitley Strieber, who wrote Communion, also wrote The Hunger, the vampire book, The
Oh,
Hunger. But Whitley Strieber, who wrote Communion, about his encounter, his abduction experience. And so after that happened, in the documentary, forgive me, can't recall the name of the documentary. I heard this great story he's sharing about how after that happened, he's having these experiences that continue to happen. So he wants to gather a group of people for a retreat in his home in, I believe, upstate New York, and or vacation getaway in upstate New York, to see if we can channel these beings. Can we summon these beings? And one of the attendees was upstairs asleep, and she sees this being, physical being, walk into her room, and she's terrified, and she's communicating with this being physically, not spiritually, physically in 3D, and it's approaching the bed. It's like something from a horror film, really. Approaches the bed, and she says, through telepathy, this being communicates and says, "Why are you so afraid?" And she says, "Because you're terrifying. You're terrifying." And the being responds and says, "Oh, don't you know, dear? We're all going to look like this one day."
oh, wow.
Mhm.
And that, of course, that was shocking. that was my takeaway of the entire documentary. Quite frankly,
Wow. Yeah.
but there is this, even with uh, look at extraterrestrial theology. There's a concept of, are we actually ourselves when we're having these experiences? Are we actually? Which, Chris, goes back to something that you would, with these amazing questions that you would ask. Are we really just talking to ourselves? A future version of ourselves. It's something to think about.
Yeah. I've always been under that mindset that, well, not, I mean, not that all extraterrestrials are, but I think that there are definitely a group of them that are just us in the future that have developed some way to come back in time to study how we are currently now, you know?
Mm-hmm. I actually believe that. I do. I believe that.
Yep.
I do.
And I mean, and of course there's, the grays and there's other species or races of aliens or whatever you want to call it. But, I think that certainly is, it's like what you said, dear, don't you know we're all going to look like this? That statement really kind of stuck with me when it comes to that thought process,
Mm-hmm. And apparently, as much as we evolve, apparently the desire for sex never ends. If that is the case, because you
Right.
hear these stories of encounters where it's just overtly sexual encounters. And
Right.
I even clients that I do speak with who share some of these experiences with me. I think of a few experiences that I can't share, but it's there's something to be said about back to that longing, back to that desire when we first started talking tonight. Could it be that not only does it transcend the physical world, it transcends dimensions, it transcends the universe. I mean, it transcends all that we, all that we know. So, I'd
Mhm.
be curious to someone's out there and they've had some of these experiences. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear your experiences. We'll all compare notes.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have sat down with groups of people that have had spiritual discussions where they have talked about, many people have talked about occurrences that they've had with otherworldly beings as well as ghosts, people that are no longer on this physical plane where there is that intimacy, that type of energy also where they have relationships with
Mm-hmm.
some of these energies. So you kind of hear stories about all different ends of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear, if I may say, I hear so many times is clients reaching out now, even reaching out now for it's a home clearing case or something that they want, maybe a virtual home clearing done or a home blessing, home ritual blessing. It's talking about how they're asleep in their beds and they have these encounters where they're violently scratched by some entity wanting sex all hours of the night. All hours of the night. I'm thinking, well, that sounds more like a blessing than a curse. Are you sure you want to clear this? Let me know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You really want to get rid of that? I mean, come on
Yeah,
now.
like you need to, if you're clearing that, you need to send it my way. But you know, but in all seriousness, there's actually that part was serious,
Yeah. Yeah.
but but the there's something too. I mean, this contact. One thing that I shared when I had the honor of, or when I had the honor of being with you, Raven, in Pennsylvania for the Undead of Winter, which was also shout out to the fabulous Madam X and to everyone from Undead of Winter. I love you all. Thank you for that. But one thing that I was sharing there was we seem to be moving from this place of moving beyond contact, where it's an established fact. We've made contact many times. We've made contact, but moving from the place of contact into the place of deeper communion with the spirit world. What does that life look like as we grow beyond our experiences, where the experiences serve as a foundation to open this door? But I think for a long time, and I'm speaking only to myself, we've really just been standing at the door. But when you open the door, there's this entire different world to be experienced. And it doesn't always look maybe like we think it should look, or a lot of things look a lot different than what we might imagine. But I think that's one thing that I'm the older I get, I become more passionate about that, is deeper levels of encounter, deeper levels of communication, deeper levels of communion, where, like what's possible? Is it possible? Is it possible to be sitting here in this seat right now and at will summon the materialization physically of something else? Is that possible? I believe it is. You know, that pushes the envelope of belief. Is it possible for me right now, sitting here, to summon something else that physically materializes, physically on command opens the door, I believe it is. I believe it is. And so whether we see the fullness of that in our lifetimes, I believe there's a generation right now that's saying, I'm not just settling for the status quo anymore. People are getting more hungry than ever before. And so if it seems like the system of this world is falling apart, I promise it's because it's leading us to something greater. It's leading us to something more, leading us, I think, to something else, and I want to always push that envelope. I don't want to settle for my mediumship of 25 years ago. As amazing as I'm so privileged to have been a part of everything I've been a part of, but I don't want to stop there. I think there's something else. We seem to be ushering in something new. I mean, it literally is the new age. Literally.
Hmm. That's great. I mean, always evolving, always growing, always pushing the envelope, right? Raising the bar.
Mhm. Mhm.
Love that. Love that.
You guys are incredible, guys. I apologize. I've actually got a West Coast call from
Oh
Los
my
Angeles.
goodness.
I'm gonna jump off in about 5 minutes.
No
Uh,
worries.
here. Thank you so much for having me. I love you both so much. Oh, so many people still tuning in. Love you. Love you so much. Love you all. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to actually cross paths with you guys and actually get to see you.
It'll be
Right? That's going to be
wonderful.
good. It cannot happen soon enough. I can say that.
Hey, you guys are, if you're ever in the Midwest, I feel like I'm sometimes the odd man out. I'm the only one in our group that's not in New England. I feel like I'm the one. And Raven and I talked about that the other day. I need to move. I'm the one. I'm the only one who's so far away.
I was going to say that could change.
It could, and not only maybe it should. So,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, New England's all fun and games for like the 3 months of summer that we have, you know?
I've I know it sounds so cliche to say this, but the paranormal activity there is just
It-
otherworldly compared to
it's a lot. It's a lot. There is a
there's
lot of history.
one of the only times, and this may be another topic for another show in the future, but one of the only times in a case that I was involved in involving actual physical levitation that was documented was in Hyannis, Massachusetts. And there's just
Yeah.
something about I don't know how to. You're both more familiar with this than I am. I'm originally from the South, but there's just something about that area that's as Raven, as one of your questions that you asked earlier. There's something about that area where this meridian is just so charged. So I'm jealous of you guys. I wish I was closer.
Well, you're with us in spirit, brother. And you'll get out here. You'll get out here. We'll get you up here. It'll be great.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Whereabouts are you? You said you're out west. Well, west to us, but
Just outside, yeah, just outside of Indianapolis currently.
Indianapolis. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, well, shit. Might have to make a vacay out there and just
Hey,
come hang out.
come on. Nashville's really close. Chicago's really close. So lots
All
of
right.
people. Yeah, yeah,
Shit. Yeah. All right. I'm
yeah.
always looking to travel. I love traveling. So
Oh, I do too. I do too. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to jump off here for this call. Thank you guys so much for
no
Thank you
worries, my
so much
friend.
for coming
tuning
on. We
in.
love you.
I love you so much. I love you. Thank you
This has
guys.
been amazing.
You guys are
Take
incredible.
care, Kenneth.
All right, take care.
You're an amazing human being.
Bye.
Keep being you, brother.
You are. Love you guys. Bye, guys.
Well, that was an awesome
You went
show.
quiet on me.
And I totally can't hear you, Chris.
Can't hear you. Hang on 1 second.
Okay. I'll wait 1 second. We're going to wait for Chris to come back on, but that was an incredible show. And I'm so excited and honored to have such amazing guests come on with us. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. What's that? What was that old
I
commercial where he's
totally
like, "Can you
can't
hear me
hear you.
now?" Oh no, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can hear you. I don't know. For anybody who can, hang on 1 second. For anybody who can hear me, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna peace out, Raven.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining our show. We will be back on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Monday nights with our with our surprise special guest for next week, and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Peace, guys.